Hello, my friends. 'Tis I, Rev Kess, here to give you a little magical history. This is part 2 in my series on magic, the occult, paganism, and witchcraft. Before I get started, I'd like to remind you that I am a bit unorthodox when it comes to my understanding and implementation of the magical practices and traditions. This article from Stanford might give you some insight into how I came to that understanding. I've adapted it from the winter 2009 edition of an entry in the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy on my birthday twin, Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa. Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa von Nettesheim, born 1486, died 1535, had two very different and contradictory identities. He was the author of the most comprehensive and most widely known book on magic and all occult arts, 3 books of occult philosophy, but also the author of a sweeping attack on every field of human learning, including magic and the occult arts, on the uncertainty and vanity of the arts and sciences, an invective declamation, published 1530. In his own century, both books were widely known, frequently reprinted, and often denounced as dangerous and heretical. They were translated from Latin into many vernacular languages, especially the vanity. Students of the more recondite and least respectable branches of natural philosophy and occult sciences pored over the occult philosophy, some of them seeking alternatives to the Aristotelian natural philosophy taught in the universities, others seeking less conventional goals, such as success in alchemical operations or the ability to use magical secrets in order to control both the natural world and the world of spirits. Readers of the vanity regarded it variously as a skeptical, or at least anti-rationalistic, attack on human learning and the ability of the human mind to gain truth, or as a denunciation of religious hypocrisy and corruption and of social injustice, or, as the French translator suggested in the title of his edition from 1582, simply as an amusing satire that would please readers who wanted to shock people by saying things contrary to conventional opinion. Those who proclaimed themselves to be pious, led by the friars and theologians of the universities, denounced both books and also their author, regarded by some as a sorcerer and associate of demons, detested by others as an irreverent mocker and subverter of religion and good morals. Those who seriously considered both books were puzzled how the same author could have produced 2 such discordant books. Indeed, not only were Agrippa's contemporaries puzzled, but also those who have studied him in later centuries. How could the same author have produced both a credulous collection of ancient, medieval, and recent magic, and also an incredulous and destructive repudiation of all ranks of society and all fields of learning, including his own magical work? Agrippa provides a clear demonstration that the eagerness of Renaissance humanists to recover the works of the ancients included not only authors regarded as respectable by modern classical scholars, but also a vast body of ancient or pseudo-ancient texts that claim to offer wisdom going back to the very origins of human civilization, the so-called ancient philosophy, such as the Hermetic texts from ancient Egypt, the Chaldean oracles, and writings of Zoroaster from Mesopotamia and Persia, the teachings attributed to Pythagoras and supposedly passed on from him to Plato and his followers, the Platonists, and the secret Jewish books known as Kabbalah, which claim to present the full meaning of the Hebrew scriptures concealed beneath the words of the text. Such learning was esoteric by its very nature, something potentially powerful and dangerous, and hence to be concealed from the masses and entrusted only to those who were morally and intellectually qualified to possess it. Agrippa was one of the leading experts of his century on the spiritual and theosophical kind of ancient wisdom. He was already deeply engaged in such studies in his youth, culminating in the early version of occult philosophy that he presented to Johannes Trethemius, abbot of Sponheim, in 1510. Close examination of his sources revealed that he continued these studies of ancient occult wisdom during his lengthy residence in Italy, where the presence of many disciples of the Florentine Neoplatonists and the largest and most flourishing Jewish community in Europe deepened his mastery of this ancient learning. Agrippa, who wanted to purge magic of the superstitious and dangerous rituals of medieval witches and sorcerers, but, unlike the Florentine Neoplatonists, did not conceal his continuing interest in medieval magic, represents the merger of popular and intellectual magical learning, as well as the union of Northern European and Italian occultism. Again, this was taken from Stanford's Winter 2009 edition of the Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Now, what does that mean for me today? It should be noted that Agrippa essentially created his occult philosophy. Based on supposed ancient texts, he took things a step further and claimed his philosophy of the occult was real and true. This earned him the accusation of heresy, especially after defending an accused witch. He ran afoul of the Inquisitor of Cologne, indeed of the Church. It should also be noted that he ended his days as a devout Christian. Most of modern occultism is based on supposed ancient texts. Even much of the modern pagan religions have made such claims. Hermetic and ceremonial practices are some of the only systems that can claim a lineage going back centuries with little interruption. None of today's magical traditions can truly claim ancient origins, save, perhaps, family traditions going back generations. I am a rare pagan and witch in that I freely admit that I may be totally delusional in my beliefs. In no way do I claim to know it all, or that my ways and beliefs are true for anyone else. They work for me, and that is all that matters. Like Agrippa, I can hold both belief in the supernatural and have the self-awareness that it may all be hokum. But that is a deeper discussion for another time. Thank you for listening. This has been Rev Kess with another installment of Magical History. And remember, if I know you, I love you. If I don't, well, too bad.